What's happening? It's the youngest general, Zayd. Just out here representing myself, trying to stay alive out here. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I was born with this name. You know, a lot of my homies, they have what you call slave names, and I'm one that's blessed to have a original African name. You know what I'm saying? I was actually named for a freedom fighter that by the name of Tupac Shakur, and that's the opposite of a slave name. I started when I was about 15. I had some older homies that, you know, it was like around the time where a lot of people was doing the independent thing and everybody was really trying to get the independent thing cracking when No Limit was cracking and Cash Money had just got on. And we were trying to do the same thing, and they was trying to make me basically the young little nigga rapper. And, you know, they put me up under their wing, and just that's how I got started and got going and got practicing and shit. So I kept doing it, and eventually, like, you know, it's hard to keep organizations together, and that was an example of that. So it kind of fell apart after a while. Tupac Shakur, you know, that happens to be my godfather, and since I happened to rap, you know, that gave me that outlet because everybody knows who Tupac Shakur is, and since, you know, that just happened to be my family, and I happened to be in the right place at the right time with some niggas that wanted a little nigga just to be rapping, that, you know, gave me that outlet. So in that way, I kind of feel like I'm meant to do this, you know, in different ways also, but that's just one way. So that's kind of how it came about, how I started and shit, you know. And now I do it because I love it, you know. You hear a lot of motherfuckers say that they ain't rappers, they gang spitters or they drug dealers, whatever the fuck you want to call it, they ain't rappers though. Well, I feel the same way. I ain't a rapper, I'm a revolutionary, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm rapping for. That's my purpose in this shit. I'm from California, you know, I was born and raised out there. And now I reside in Atlanta, Decatur to be exact. And you know, I think my style is reflective of that. You know, I don't think a lot of people can put a finger on me and how I get down. You know, it's definitely New African, what we call New African, but it's not East Coast, West Coast, down South, or nothing like that. It's just me, you know, and I'm happy with it. So that's what's cracking. I feel like more than anything, it's a lot of trickery going on in mental enslavement. Like, you know, we bombarded with images that I think we take for granted. We don't think have that much of an impact on us, but they actually do, like TV and watching shit and food and all kind of other things. And so I think more than anything, it's just forces of habit and what we see and what we choose to internalize more than anything else. That are the different forms of slavery. And I think, you know, through that you got, you know, different things are expressed out of that, like the way that we feel and the way that we think, you know, winds us up in prison, you know what I'm saying, the way that we feel and the way we think and the way we act, and the things that we feel like, you know, or the things that we come in contact with for the most part are things that, you know, are expressed by niggas getting jacked and niggas getting robbed and crack cocaine and us feeling like we have to do drugs and shit like that. So, you know, if that makes sense or whatever. My basic philosophy on Gangsta is, boom, you know, it's always a good reason to be gangster, you know what I'm saying? And for me, you know what I'm saying, I'm a gangster when it comes to self-defense, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's a good reason to be gangster. It's like, as far as the music goes, you got a lot of gangster rap, this, that, and the third, and people call it that. And they look negatively on that, but it's nothing wrong with defending yourself and saying, I'll do this if a motherfucker do this to me. Now, it's something wrong if you carry yourself like that 24 hours a day, and you portraying yourself like that 24 hours a day, but, you know, I don't put nobody in no box. I know a motherfucker's not like that 24 hours a day, and it's just, you know, certain motherfuckers that make us look at it like that, I feel like, you know, and they only play certain shit, so it seems like that, I feel like, so. I think, you know, it's always a good reason to be gangster, you know what I'm saying? It's always a good reason to be revolutionary. It's always a good reason to be a family man, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be different things, and then you might have to be gangster for your family, you know what I'm saying? You might have to be, you know, gangster when it comes to going to get some food, you know what I mean? Like, we gotta just be well-rounded human beings is all I was saying to the homie, you know, when we was having that discussion. In this day and time, you know, it's a lot of gangster shit going on, like from the United States, you know, being in Iraq, and that shit is gangster in a way, to shit that's going on in the streets when you just, you know, you gotta get some get back on the nigga for doing whatever, and you gotta be gangster, so, you know, yeah.
The type of shit to get your hit quicker, real recognize real, if it's real then I can get with you.